And we're live. That was a little bit of a delay, but here we are. 14th installment, chopping it up. Moff's back. What's going on? How you doing, brother?
Doing very good, man. Good to see you as always.
Yeah, man. Enjoy catching up and diving down to rabbit holes and seeing what's going on all week and just shooting the shit. And you guys, the call-in link is always pinned at the top of the live chat. So, if you got anything you want to chop up, ask questions on, we'll do that after we get at least halfway through the show. So you guys, you always have an opportunity for that. What do you want to talk about first? Well, the election's done.
Yeah, I mean, where do we start? First off, I want to say to all the U.S. guys out there, happy Veterans Day to all those that served. This
Remember
is
to say in other parts of the world, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of buddies, a lot of guys in the community that are veterans. We have a lot of guys that come from the military or former military that join, our community, and that's
A lot.
I was talking to one of them.
Dudes.
Yeah, really solid dudes. I was talking to one of them a couple weeks ago when we were still in Nashville, and I kind of asked him, I was like, there doesn't seem to be any sort of way to replicate, the bond and the camaraderie that soldiers go through together, guys in your squad and guys in your unit. And I asked him, he'd been out for a couple of years. I was like, oh, how many times do you talk to these guys a week, or who do you still keep in touch with? He's like, not really anybody. It's like we could just go our separate ways, and a lot of guys go back to wherever they came from. They go back home, and they don't have much to go back to. The mission and the purpose has become military, and it's like once they're out, one of the biggest things they look for is like a sense of camaraderie and to rejoin that sort of brotherhood. So, if anybody's watching this, or if anybody is a veteran out there that is looking for, to try to replicate that as much as possible. I don't sit here and say that we're anything like the military. We're certainly not LARPers. We do work with a lot of former military style guys, and a lot of the programming we do and kind of the way we run things leadership wise is similar to the military, but it's in the way that it is around camaraderie and doing hard things together and going through tough times and trying to come out the other side better men. So, anyway, for all those that served, thinking about you today.
Yeah. Did the moment of silence by myself at 11:11, of course. Took some time, but it was, it's one of those things, man. You kind of take for granted all the things that we enjoy today. And I think more back to World War II, because that was like the era that I was totally obsessed with. My dad was in the Royal Air Force. My grandfather was in the Royal Air Force, my uncle. And I got a lot of military, a lot of stuff around World War II planes, very familiar with even the stats and stuff like that. I got a big painting on my wall up over there. But I often think back to those days and wonder how things would have been had the world not got involved at that time. And would have been a lot different. But there's a lot of men that are 6 feet under that never got married, never had children, never did anything because they were back to the front, like Metallica would say, right?
Indeed.
But it is what it is. Anyway, so back to the U.S. election. We have Donald Trump as president. Awesome. We made that as a prediction, but it had to be a landslide, and it was a landslide. So that's fantastic. We've got these new movements with the screeching 4Bs, and women are shaving their hair off and like crazy. Moff, what have you seen in the last few days, man? Like the world's going nuts. Well, not the world, but the people that didn't get what they wanted are throwing a hissy fit, as they always do.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack. I mean, obviously, Trump won the presidency, which rightfully so. And it should usher in hopefully a new age of kind of returning back to traditional values, reversing all of this just crazy woke nonsense that we've seen happen over the last 4 years. And I think I posted something the other day, and you guys know how much I follow Jack Donovan and stuff that he writes. And it's like, listen, I so much of the stuff that got introduced in the last 20 years, was a direct sort of antithesis towards the fact that men and women are different. You know, we somehow it became permeated in popular culture that men and women are the same and they're not different anyway. And you can have men to dress up as women and go in their bathrooms, and you can have men that get pregnant and all these backwards ass things that would have gotten you put into a mental asylum, you know, 20, 30, 45 years ago. So, you know, things are definitely looking up. There's reason to be cautiously optimistic. I mean, they're still fighting over you know, Congress seats. There seems to still be some nefarious things that are going on with last minute ballots and things like that. So there's just a lot of things going on right now. But one of there's kind of a interesting sentiment among kind of the right side and the conservatives, where some people are saying like, hey, you know, now is the time to bring people together and don't stoop down to the left's don't stoop down to their level by turning on them and being, you know, vindictive towards them. And there's other people that's like, listen, these people would kill me, take my job, dox me, want me to lose my job or take food out of my family's mouth. Like, we need to go scorched earth on these people, because that's the only way you really do it. If they think that everything's going to be kumbaya after the way they treated people for the last, you know, 10, 15 years, then that's not a deterrent, and they're going to pick back up and they're going to do this kind of BS again. So, I mean, Trump has made some great appointments, starting with the new border czar. His name escapes me right at the current time. Yeah, but I mean, this is the guy that has gone toe to toe with people like AOC and saying, "Hey, listen, yeah." I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff going around, and he seems to be a great man for the job. So people are kind of saying that the 2020 election was actually better for Trump than it was it's better for him to have lost than if he had won, because he would have had to carry over old cabinet members, people that that really didn't belong there in the first place. If you watched his Rogan episode, one of the most telling things was that he was saying, I didn't really get to, I trusted other people to make these appointments. I wasn't in politics. I didn't know these people. I just did what I was pretty much led to believe was the right thing. And then he realized, he's like, maybe some of these were mistakes. So he kind of got to start back on his own and build from scratch. And you're seeing guys like, you know, Elon apparently is spending a lot of time in Mar-a-Lago. They're talking about policy. You know, Vivek is in the running, I think, for Secretary of State. I think Tulsi is going to have some involvement. There's a lot of just really, RFK obviously is in the conversation. He's in the mix. So they're kind of, if you're a right wing, or I wouldn't say right wing, but if you're kind of a conservative, there's a lot of reasons to be positive and optimistic right now. It seems like if everything goes according to plan, that we could see a monumental shift to, you know, getting back to what made for you know, to go on a cliche here, what made America great, and get back to that. So the crazies, we're seeing TikToks, liberals screaming their heads off. We're seeing women.
I got some stuff to show you guys in a minute.
Yeah, we're seeing women refuse to have sex with men, which is, you know, okay. It's not like they're the ones that men were going after anyway. It reminds me of an old George Carlin bit. It's like, you ever realize that the women that stand outside abortion clinics protesting are the women you wouldn't even want to sleep with anyway? So it's kind of like that. So yeah, I'm kind of ready for all this stuff to die down and be over, for there to be some real enacting some change. But you know, the dust is still settling. I mean, there's reports of people that are offing themselves because of the results of the election. I mean, it's just, and you kind of feel for some people on one hand, because they've clearly been so duped and brainwashed that they've gone to that. But at the same time, part of me goes like, you know what? If you're that mentally weak and you don't even have your facilities, nature's healing and natural selection is at play.
Yeah, it's my take from my perspective north of the border is it's been interesting to watch the meltdown. I've seen press pieces where you know, it was stated that a guy basically deleted his wife and his kids and then self-deleted himself over the results of the election. I've seen a few stories like that. I got some videos to show you guys of like meltdowns of women shaving their head, like compilation meltdowns. You know, there's a few other things, but you're right. I mean, I wasn't pleased with how Trump did the first time he was in office. I had greater expectations, and I didn't really see much of a change, to be honest with you. Like, I saw the country burning down and protests and people throwing hissy fits like crazy, and nothing was really done about it. I'm not really sure if he didn't have the power to do anything about it because of what was going on with the other divisions. But you know, I think this time's going to be different. Like Trump's not a stupid guy, and he's very successful for a reason, and he knows how to negotiate. He's not liked by everybody, but I suspect he'll probably do his best to try to bring the country together as a whole and get the other side past their grievances and their little hissy fits, which will be good as a whole. And he's going to put some good people in charge, I think, this time. You know, I'd like to see RFK taking care or being in charge of health, although I don't know if the pharma companies will allow that. I don't know how much pull they've got. You know, Vivek as Secretary of State would be great. You know, he's got a really good team. You know, that there was like that banner once, you know, that I saw. It was like, you know, like the Avengers, and it was like Trump and his entire, you know, team of supporters that were all running for the presidency, and then sort of like stepped back and said, "Nah, we'll just back him instead." So yeah, we'll see what happens. And then when he's done with his term, because I think he stated during the Rogan podcast that he doesn't plan to run again. Like this will be his last term. He's got a whole bunch of kids that can run. He's got Vance that can run. There's a whole bunch of other people that can certainly step up and continue the movement. So, you know, I hope you guys out there are looking forward to the next few years, because I think the future is going to be very, very bright in the United States.
Yeah, the best move that he made by far in his campaign was picking Vance. JD Vance. I think it was one of those things that people kind of didn't know. It was kind of a head scratcher at first. Guys really didn't know who he was. Yeah. But man, he's just such a likable guy, and nobody really seems to have a bad thing to say about the guy whatsoever. I mean, look, like former veteran, he's only 40, you know, still a young dude, bunch of kids, you know, Christian if you're into that kind of thing. And just seems like the debate, everybody really got to see that dude shine. And I mean, what's interesting is because like Tim Walz is the epitome of what the left thinks masculinity and what a man is. This bumbling, stumbling, fat dork idiot. You know, he is the fat loser dad from Kings and Queens. He's the sitcom dad that we've seen. He's Homer Simpson in real life, and they think that that's what their guy is. And so, yeah, I mean, he didn't even win his county. That's how disliked he was. Wow. He lost votes. I mean, they didn't even win his county in Minnesota. That's how bad it was. So,
what about Camilla? Did she get her seat?
Well, she was. I mean, I don't know how long was she. I don't know if she was ever. Maybe she was a governor. I can't. She was attorney general. I remember that. But I mean, as far as where she's originally from, I couldn't even tell you. But I just know that there's a lot of discrepancies that are going on right now. But you know, Vance was clear, far and away, you know, the best decision that he made campaign. And obviously, like, what's crazy is everybody's talking about
this popped up too.
Barron Trump.
When Waltz's family said don't even vote for him. Yeah, that was a shame.
Well, even Kamala Harris's family, her dad made a really scathing remark. She went on some podcast, I think, and it was something about smoking weed, and she goes like, "Oh, of course I have. You know, I'm from Jamaica, or I'm Jamaican." And her dad, who is like a very, you know, I think he's an adjunct professor. He's at University of Stanford. He wrote a letter to. I'm sorry if I don't know the exact citations of where this is coming from, but he basically said something along the lines of, "I am disappointed, and I disavow the comments made by my daughter to basically the Jamaican." Lazy, have fun, smoke weed on the beach all day stereotype that we've tried so hard to get away from. All she's done is reaffirm it because she's an idiot. So
she spent a lot of time putting a lot of dudes in jail for smoking weed.
Yes, she did. She did very much do so. And because she was so concerned with her record and because she wanted to put guys away. And I mean, it's absolutely clownish. And you know, it's also great to see what I love to see, because people think this is an own and it's not. There's footage going around of leftists saying, all right, now it's time to buy guns, and now it's time to get in shape, and it's time to learn how to fight. It's like, I hope you all do, because because every step that you take in that direction will lead you inevitably more conservative and more right-leaning. Increase your testosterone, go learn how to fight, lose weight, get jacked. I promise in 4 years you'll be on our team.
Yeah, you'll become stronger, more virtuous, all that stuff. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's get into some of the bookmarks that I got. Jason, sit tight. We'll get you in a little bit when we get through all the tabs we got, but we'll definitely, you know, pull you in for some Q&A stuff. Let me see what we got here. Share screen and present. Boom. Let's get started. So this one here popped up the day after our last show, actually the day of the election. And it just illustrates the hive mind vibe that you'll get with a lot of young gals today and how they think about topics and ideas. So I just want to play these quick interviews. It's only about a minute long. Let's make sure the audio is good. And here we go.
Makes a guy undateable.
Anyone who works out.
Dad bod or fit bod?
Fit bod.
What hobby makes a guy undateable?
Gym bros.
Dad bod or fit bod?
Fit.
Fit, probably.
Hobby makes a guy undateable.
Oh, gym for sure.
Going to the
Right?
gym? Yeah.
Gym for sure.
No.
Yeah.
Dad bods or fit bods?
Fit bods.
That's fair. What hobby makes a guy undateable?
I think a gym bro.
Dad bod or fit bod?
Probably a fit bod.
Yeah, fair. And then what hobby makes a guy undateable?
Definitely gym bros.
Why is that?
Because they use steroids.
Have you ever talked to one?
Real.
Hobby makes a guy undateable.
The gym.
Question for you. Dad bod or fit bod?
Solid in between?
Yes, that's what I was
Oh,
going to say.
can I say in between?
No, you're like, this is a yes or no question. And you're like, third option.
They don't have to have a six-pack, but like I feel like
Shoulders,
Not a
like the
beer
arms.
belly.
Yeah, like the
not the
shoulders,
beer
the
belly
arms.
though. That's disgusting.
not the beer belly.
Not the beer belly.
You don't have to have a six-pack to be hot.
Yeah.
Like I truly
Good.
believe in that.
That's really good.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I pulled that up is they all have the right to vote. And you can see how the hive mind works, right? It's like say words, actions don't match. And this is very common today, you know, like I've always said to you guys, you know, if the words don't match the actions, then believe the choices. And it's like, we know women unanimously choose guys that are fit. It's always been that way. It's going to always be that way. There's so much evidence, whether you look at anecdotal evidence, Evo Psych studies, women just overwhelmingly choose a guy that's fit. But then you ask them the question, and what's the red flag in a guy? Oh, he goes to the gym. How do you get fit without working out? Explain that to me, Moff. How do you do that?
Well, you don't. But that's the world that most women, or the vast majority of women, live in, where they just wake up. They don't have to work out. They can drink their iced coffee and eat McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts all day and have just garbage crap diets. And then they don't have to go to the gym and they don't have to be in shape. But as long as they're not obese, like guys will still fall all over them. You can't be that as a guy. Like if you want to be, the amount of time and effort and energy that it takes for a guy to get I'm not talking about a stage ready 6% body fat Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler physique. I'm talking about a physique with a V taper that women will find impressive, takes years upon years of hard work, dedication, and consistency with your diet, your training. It takes a very long time. And like women just don't live in the world where they have to work at something for years and years and years upon end to get any sort of result. They just wake up and they have it fall into their lap. So it's not surprising at all that they're detached from reality in this way, because they just don't ever have to live. And there's more girls now going to the gym than ever, don't get me wrong. But I mean, you can go to an average, you could just search like fit chicks and you'll see obese girls that wear Gymshark leggings with 200,000 followers, but you'll never find a guy that does the same thing.
Yeah, not a chance. So I captioned that one. This is why everybody says women shouldn't vote. It's just hive mind mentality and a lack of critical thinking on subject matters. But guys, this is why you need to become strong. This is why you need to lead. This is why you need to set boundaries. It's not women's fault. It's men that need to just. I mean, you can't control chicks. You know, you can't exert control of them. You know, you can set boundaries. That's about the best that you can do. And removing your attention and your time and your interest in them sends a very clear message. And again, you know, like I said, get to the gym, lift weights, get rid of the belly, learn how to fight, be competent in combat sports. These are all useful skills. It's great exercise. You can use them in a real world type of scenario. If it's ever called upon you to exert violence, women find it very attractive. Don't listen to what women say. Watch how women choose. And when you have a chick in your frame and you're dealing with her, Set those boundaries. It's on you to lead. It's not, well, I don't know, where do you want to eat tonight? It's, we're going here and it's going to be 8 o'clock and I'm going to order for you. Sit down and order the food for her. Maybe we'll do a show one day where we like talk about like the actual detail components of like frame and stuff like that, because I think that's sometimes lost amongst men. Got another one over here. It's just a quick short one. Gad Sad shared it. And this was after the election. This was on the 6th. And, the caption here is, millions of liberal women are going on a sex strike for the next 4 years. So let's see what this young lady has to say over here.
4 years. So hope you thought that through, you guys. I personally think that if all of these men are voting to take our rights away, they don't deserve to touch a woman for the next 4 years. So hope you thought that through, you guys.
Did you vote to take women's rights away, Moff?
Yeah, I mean, it's complete nonsense. Like, again, it's just, it doesn't make sense to fight them or argue with them. They can just be so wrong and so misinformed and brainwashed. They can just go on the internet and say whatever they want to say. And it's like, guys, when I hear, like, I want people to watch that are watching to understand, like, this isn't like dunking and clowning on women. It's about just stop pedestalizing them. Stop putting them on this pedestal and acting like they're these perfect beings when to their core, they are fickle creatures that rarely know what they want. They have a hive mind. They go along with the crowd. They are very, very swayed by social trends and strong leaders. So be that for them. But no, I mean, I don't know how else a guy like Trump has to put it other than black and white, where he says, nationwide abortion ban, never going to happen. I'd veto it if it ever came to my desk. All I did was give it back to states, which is where the power should exist in the first place. And this is my thing. I was talking to somebody about this earlier, and it's like, I want to, this is a challenge to every woman out there who talks about like abortion rights and that sort of thing. If this is the number one issue, if it's the number one thing, if the number one thing is that's your favorite thing to do, and that is going to be your sole and only, if not your sole and only, your top one, not even close, the 2 and 3 are far and away not even in the same category. Why wouldn't you just move to a place where you could do it and where it was legal? If it's so important to you, if it's the number one thing
on the state level, because then what'll happen is the states now have control of that.
Just move.
And the lib states that want to offer that to the people that live there, the women that find it that important will move to that state, and that'll free up the red states to be more red. And the people that are living in states where they don't like that type of. So I've always maintained, I think we talked about this last week, I think that it would actually be a good idea to divide the United States up into two policies, liberal policies and conservative policies. And I think it's going to start going that way if they can keep passing legislation and law that allows the state to make decisions on these key issues. And if the constituents, if the people in the ridings that live in that state want certain things and they invite politicians to make them legal, or they pay for them, or whatever it happens to be, cool. And there'll be places in the world like Florida, maybe, where the governor, just says, no, that's not what we're about here. But if you want that, you can go to another state, right? And make it real simple and just congregate. Like it's always us versus them. Like it's always been us versus them out there. You draw a perimeter around the people you care about. You share the same values. It's us and them. They're on the outside. We're on the inside. We're on the inside. The empire of nothing's on the outside. Let them do their thing. Let them do whatever they want. I'm not saying stop them from getting pregnant and having a million abortions. Go nuts. Do what you want with your body. It's your body, your choice, right?
Well, this is the whole problem. This is the whole problem with progressives and progressivism as a movement in general, because it's based and it does not exist without victimhood. The idea of progress, you have to continuously be making progress and striving towards new things and do this. And it's like, okay, you've gotten everything you've ever wanted. Now what? You can't play victim anymore. You've gotten all these victories. Now what? No, there's never any satisfaction, because you can't be a progressive and a leftist without inherently being a victim. There's always, and look how we did it. You share this meme often. I'm sure you don't have it queued up, but it's like, it's this slippery slope where it's like, first it was gay marriage. Like, cool, man. whatever, do what the hell you want to do. Then it was this, and it's like, okay, like that's a little bit weird, but whatever, keep behind closed doors. And then it's like, well, now we're going to add 14 more alphabets to this flag, and now men can get pregnant. We're like, hold on a second, this is not what we were talking about. Oh, also now like men can dress up like women, and they can pretend to be women, and they can go indoctrinate your kids in schools, and then they can talk to them about sex when they're 5 years old. It's like, how the hell did we get here? So this whole giving ground thing, this whole like, oh, we'll just have this little thing, like they're never satisfied. And what eventually happens is it becomes this hellscape apocalyptic scenario. And then they come in, they destroy it like the parasites they are, and then they move on to the next thing. So that's where we are. So thankfully, we don't have to deal with that for the next 4 years. Knock on wood.
Yeah. All right, we got another one here that kind of toes the line with the whole hissy fit thing. Like I said, we've got a few of these clips to sort of establish, some of these points.
This is a PSA for.
So just to sort of frame this a little better, I pulled it up, and her bio said divorce recovery coach, helping you navigate single motherhood. So this is who this gal is over here. So she's doing the similar sort of thing the other one was. Let's just play this.
This is a PSA for any of the ladies that have been seriously considering divorcing their husband. There's a lot of big conversations happening now that we have the results of the election. One of them being no-fault divorce. That is a type of divorce that allows you to end your marriage without needing to prove that anyone is at fault. Some lawmakers are looking to abolish that, which is going to make you divorcing your husband a lot harder. So here's what that potential change could mean for you. You're going to have to prove that your husband did something wrong, which can be even more expensive, emotionally draining, and time consuming. Legal battles over fault can keep you in an endless and very expensive fight. Removing no-fault divorce could mean higher conflict in court, which is certainly not ideal for your kids or you. Without no-fault divorce, you lose the freedom to decide when to leave your marriage. Your private decision could be left up to someone else's idea of what's right. So if you're unhappy in your marriage, now might be the time to act. Protect your right to choose what is best for you and your kids before it's taken away. Because the reasons that you want to leave your marriage are no one else's fucking business.
Sign up for her How to Become a Single Mom course now.
We should get her on the show.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I would love to have her on.
Yeah. And by the way, guys, I've said this before. Feminists don't always have a ton of weight on them, short purple hair, and are, very unattractive. All women have an element of toxic feminism in them. It's just to what degree. And she's putting on makeup, which is uncommon for, the warmonging purple-haired harpies, but she's she's saying her piece. She's saying, and here's the truth of the matter when it comes to no-fault divorce, by the way, guys. This fight over no-fault divorce is the stupidest thing ever. The tradcons keep saying we have to get rid of no-fault divorce. She's saying when they take away no-fault divorce, it's going to be tougher to untie the knot. No, it's not. It's not. The process already takes a long time. It's already draining. It already sucks tons and tons of money out of families and into the coffers of the legal system, the courts and lawyers and all that sort of stuff. To get divorced with a no-fault system only means that all you have to say is, well, he was financially abusive to me. Like, they will come up with key talking points that don't need physical evidence, like he cheated, for example. He was mean to me, or he scared the kids, or he raised his voice or something, right? And that will still push it through. It's not like it's going to change anything. So the whole fight over the whole, let's get rid of no-fault divorce, let's keep it. It's stupid. It's not going to make a difference at the end of the day. If a woman wants to leave, if she wants to untie the knot, she will do it. There's no amount of layers of no-fault leverages or mechanisms that you're going to put in place that's going to stop the process, if I can put it that way. What do we got over here? And I captioned that: never ever marry a woman with liberal beliefs. She will never respect you or follow your lead. Do you understand? All right, let's go to the next one up over here. This is interesting. This is a pretty girl who runs a little TikTok here. And let's play it and have a quick conversation. Quick 43 seconds.
I was talking to one of my guy friends that was explaining to me how easy it is to scare off a high value man. They will actually watch you from afar before they make their first move because they want to make sure that you understand what a high value person is. And if they see that you were messing around or entertaining low value men, guys who are just players and that will waste your time, then that will scare them off because they will see that you don't actually respect yourself to wait for the right person and be able to identify a low value man from a high value man. And just keep in mind that these high value men can watch you for months or even a year to make sure that before they put their time and effort into someone, that is the right person that they are choosing, so they're not wasting their time.
So she said that they'll watch you for months or even a year. I just want to clarify that. I agree with what she's saying, for the most part, but a guy that's looking to date a gal is not going to watch her for months or a year. He's going to look at her, he's going to like her, he's going to want to date her. But what he'll probably do is he'll watch her behaviors as he's dating her, as they sort of move through, the moments of life and meeting family and traveling. And, we lost our luggage at the airport and see how she handles stuff. That's what guys like that do. They watch their behavior, their choices, their lifestyle, their beliefs, their politics. You were laughing. Why was that funny for you?
Yeah, here's why I'm not buying any of this.
Okay.
So what you're talking about is different than what she's talking about.
Yeah.
So if we just unpack this really quickly, I was talking to one of my guy friends, aka a guy that I'm not banging. She's an attractive girl. This is a guy in the friend zone.
Yeah.
He's basically coping, saying, "Oh, well, I'm a high value guy, so I will sit back and watch you get ran through by Chad, and you make all these other decisions, and you don't come and hang out or sleep with me. And then I decide, oh, well, you're hanging out with low value guys, so I am no longer going to pursue you or consider you as a romantic option."
There's that element too, yeah.
It's the craziest nice guy cope, beta arbiter cope I've ever heard.
I would have
not a real
hear
thing.
the guy tell that story
Yeah.
to see what it looked like, because that would have definitely, put a fork in it. But that,
I didn't want to approach her, man. I
Yeah.
waited around for a year before I made a move because I wanted to see her get piped by a bunch of dudes first. It's like, no,
Yeah.
dude, that's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. Like what you're talking about, absolutely valid,
Yeah, but-
different, but not
Yeah,
like
that's-
I'm going to sit on the sidelines and watch.
yeah,
you
that's
get
absolutely
ran through
true.
by
Yeah,
Chad.
you're not going to watch
He's
a
a
gal for a year
BS.
before you ask her out. Guys,
Hell no.
guys at that level, guys with that kind of influence and competence and success in life aren't sitting around watching girls for a year. He likes a girl, he's interested, he makes a move. She doesn't reciprocate, no problem. There's a million other you. There's more of me than there is of you, is basically the way the guy looks at it. It's like, done, fine, move on. But the thing that I'm talking about is guys will pay very, very close attention. There was another video that I think I reacted to once in the car. Somebody had sent me, and she was talking about how it might have even been the same girl. In fact, I think maybe it's off the same sort of thread, but she was saying something along the lines of every woman out there wants a high value man until they get one and they realize that he has boundaries and standards and that it's work to keep him. Right. That's true. That's, I think, a mistake that a lot of chicks make is they're like, yeah, I want the best. And then they go and get it. And they're like, oh shit, I have to follow his boundaries. Really? I can't go out and party till 1 o'clock in the morning on the weekends anymore with my girlfriends. Oh, I didn't know that, sort of thing. But yeah, that's the way it goes. We got, what have I been telling you guys about the finish line, guys? This is a quick one, 20 seconds.
If you want to meet a hot guy at Venice Run Club, I suggest not actually doing the run and being the first one at the bar after and wait for whoever's fastest to get here first. Because number one, they're fast. That's hot. Number two, I'm the only one here to flirt with.
They wait at the finish line and they pick the winners, right?
I mean, can't say it any better than that. I mean, there you go. I mean, it's kind of genius, to be honest. Yeah, like why run and get all hot and sweaty? Yeah, I mean, yeah, go for it. Hope it works out for her.
Yeah, I mean, good strategy, and it's exactly like I said.
Go where they are. Go where they are. Like we tell women all the time, like, where do I find high value? Go where they are. Like, position yourself. Put yourself in their orbit. Go for it. Yeah. This one
was here. I'm not gonna. I can't play the music, but you don't need the music because it's going to copyright infringe the channel. But I just want you to watch her behavior, and that should be big enough for you guys to see it. Let's hit the play button. She's just dancing some music over here. I don't know who that is, but notice she's biting her lip, looking at him in a very flirtatious way and shaking her hips while Ben Affleck watches her do that.
Looking right at her.
looking right at her. That was a moment that he knew that she was for the streets. Basically is what the caption says. If you see your woman looking at another man like that, especially in front of you, dude, just walk away.
We saw it with we go back to that Bezos clip, Lauren Sanchez, when she was looking at Leo like that. It's over, dude. Mogged. You're done. That's it.
That was
right in front of him.
Yeah, that was such that was. I mean, that would have taken the wind out of sails for me. If I was, if I was that guy and somebody made that video, that would have been tough.
Just go home with him. Yeah, be like, oh, you know what? All right, you go hang out with him.
Much bounce. See you later.
See ya. Yeah.
Okay, what do we got over here? We got a few more other ones. We got Emma Watson, who is self-partnering herself now. Who cares?
Come on.
Well, this one was good. So I'll play this over here for you. It's a minute 20. So there's this. So I'll just clarify first. There's a blue bracelet movement that's been spoken about quite a lot lately in the last few days. And this gal over here is reflecting on that. Again, she didn't get what she wants. She's throwing a hissy fit, and she feels cheated. So let's have a play here, and you can have a listen to this side of the story.
So I'm liking what I'm hearing about the blue friendship bracelet movement, but I personally want something more permanent, more serious. I'm wholeheartedly devoted to what I believe in, and that's love. So can we come up with a tattoo and placement of that tattoo to mark ourselves, to identify ourselves to other women and men who share our values, who know that we are a safe person to be with? I will gladly get this agreed upon tattoo. I'd like to get it today, but I'm sure we can't agree that quickly. So to all the men and women out there who feel cheated and betrayed and a little bit lost, what tattoo are we getting and where are we putting it? Excuse the black eyes. I'm a single mom of 2 boys, got hit in the head with a baseball on election day. So yeah, seems appropriate. Let me know.
Let me know. The hive mind is working, Moff. Tell me where to get my tattoo and where to put it. Wow, I mean, look, I just said, why don't you get a tattoo that says libtard right on your forehead so everybody can see it and know who you are right off the bat?
Please do this. If you're considering getting a tattoo about how betrayed and how hurt you feel, if you're a woman or a man,
yeah,
I'm begging you, please do it. There's never been a better, I cannot think of a better way to make an indicator of people I'd want to steer clear and never share the same air with than if you have a tattoo talking about how betrayed you feel, man or woman. So please, I'm all for it. Please do it. My goodness. God, how hard do you have to get hit with a fucking baseball to get 2 black eyes? My God.
I mean, the guy might need to get right between the nose, but
that guy needs to get a call to the majors.
Yeah, first when I was watching, I thought she got punched in the face or something. Like, when she said
she get like the shit beat out of her.
Yeah, but
no, that was just the election.
Nature's healing, guys. They're. What did I say about hissy fits? Hissy fits, red flag number 17, right out of my book. You don't want to deal with women that throw hissy fits. You need stability and peace in your life. You need a woman that can regulate herself, and not throw it down and like kick and scream when things don't go their way. And she's not kicking and screaming, obviously, but I'm using that as an example. But like women running out in droves and shaving their head and getting tattoos and blue bracelets and wearing face masks to demonstrate in unison that they're unhappy with the outcome is just bonkers. We got another one over here. We've got crazy eyes, and
this woman.
This TikToker warns women to delete period tracking apps, not get married, divorce their husbands if they voted for Trump. So let's have a listen. It's a little bit longer. I'm going to speed it up so we can get through it just a tad bit quicker. I think she's a slow talker anyway, but here we go.
I took the morning to grieve. That's all the time we have. Now is your time to start making a plan. Women, I'm here to talk to you today. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to delete your period tracking app. I don't care what state you're in. Go into your history, take out a paper planner, write down your history so that you have it, because I know that you track it. You use it to track ovulation and all of that stuff. You can't do that in an app anymore. Before you delete the app, you're going to delete your data out of the app. That's not a sure way to make sure that they can't use it against you later, but it helps. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to get Plan B or its prescription equivalent. If you are comfortable getting the prescription, you can go to your doctor, and sometimes you can get it for free. That version, I think it's called Ella. And then if you are not comfortable or unable to do that with your doctor, go get Plan B in cash at your local pharmacy. I don't care if you don't need it right now, just keep it on your shelf. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to follow creators like Jessica Valenti. She talks about abortion in her newsletter, Abortion Every Day. She is a godsend. I don't know how she does it. She is amazing. She will keep you educated on all the things going on around abortion, not just abortion news, but news related to abortion. That stuff is going to be very important to you now. Whether you ever consider getting an abortion for yourself or not, this is vital information to you. You're going to get on some form of birth control. You're going to get the pill. You're going to get the implant in your arm. You're going to get the IUD. You're going to get your tubes tied. I don't care if you're not sexually active right now, because guess what? That doesn't mean you're not going to get pregnant. And speaking of that, I'm sorry. Don't get pregnant right now. I'm sorry. It's your life. You do what you want. My advice to you for your safety is to not get pregnant right now. I am not going to get pregnant right now, even though I would love to have a family one day. That dream just went out the window forever, unless I move to another country. I'm not having a baby in the United States. I won't do it. Another thing that you may really disagree with, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I care about you and I want you to be safe. If you and your male partner voted differently this election, if he voted for that man, you need to leave him. You need to leave him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You need to leave him. I know you love him. I know you love him. I know you think he's going to change. I know you think he just doesn't understand your problems. I know that you think he's more concerned about the economy, but especially if you're married to him, you are in danger right now. You are in a lot of danger. I just know that one's going to get a lot of pushback, but this is my opinion. Sure, whatever. This is my opinion. Do what you got to do. But if that resonated with you, listen to your gut. Speaking of marriage, I wouldn't get married right now. If you do, get a really, really strong prenup, but I can't promise you that that's going to be honored. I mean, I wouldn't be getting married right now. I would have your own bank account. I would have your own money. I would be saving that money. That's another thing. Save your money as much as you can right now. No frivolous spending. Be careful for the holidays. You need to be conserving your resources right now. Why did I say you shouldn't get married? Because it's possible that in the future, you're not going to be allowed to divorce him. You're going to enroll in self-defense classes. You're going to get a personal trainer. You're going to carry. I don't know what that looks like for you, but you're going to do something to make sure that you can defend yourself so that you don't get raped in a dark parking lot. You need to sit down with the people that you love and have a very serious conversation about, if A happens, then I'm going to do B. If this happens, then I'm going to do this. If it gets to this point, if this thing happens in the news, if this thing happens in Congress, if this thing happens by executive order, at that point, I am going to blank. I don't know what that looks like for you, again, but you need to be thinking about these scenarios and have a plan in place. You need to be thinking about who your in case of emergency people are. You need to be considering if shit hits the fan, who am I reaching out to? Is it my friend? Is it my sister? Is it my partner? Is it my mom? Whoever that is in your life, you need to be talking to them about the way you're feeling right now and the things that you are concerned about, and you guys need to be forming a plan together. I am not trying to get you to panic. I know that I'm speaking to you very fervently, but I'm just being very real. We are having a heart-to-heart right now. I need you to hear me. Don't just shrug this off. Don't play this down. I know it's going to be okay. I know it's going to be okay because we're going to make sure that we're okay, not because it's just going to happen. We have to ensure that we are going to be all right. This is how you do it. Be prepared so that you don't have to panic. I'm speaking to women because that is my experience. That is what I know. I can do another part where I talk to other particular groups or to all of us as a whole. I can't really speak on the experience of people of color, of people who are LGBTQ. You guys all need to be making your own plans as well. Everyone needs to be making a plan depending on which category you're in, because they're putting us in categories now. You need to be thinking about, he wants to do this to my group of people, whoever you are. You need to be thinking about, what's he going to do? What's this administration going to do to target me? And how am I going to protect myself from whatever that is? Let me know what I missed. I'm trying not to do too many things in one video so I don't get you absolutely overwhelmed, because I know that today is a very stressful day, but I'm just trying to get this information out to you as quickly as possible so that you can start to prepare. But let me know what I missed. Let me know who else needs to hear something important, an important message about how to prepare for them, and then we can continue this conversation. I know what today is. I know. I'm with you. Okay.
What is going on in the world with these people? Help me. Like, I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and walk a mile in them. And it's like, what are you so fearful of? What's the fear mongering? Don't get married. Don't have sex. Tie your tubes. Have a really strong why would you have a really strong prenup if you're hypergamous? You're going to marry a richer guy. You're going to take half his shit anyway. Why do you want a prenup? Like, a lot of this stuff, it just doesn't even add up. Like,
it's they need to have something to complain about. They need to have something. They need to have the drama. They need this. Like, these are the ramblings of a severely underbanged woman. Like, TM, trademark. These are the ramblings of a woman who has not gotten dick down in a very long time. Not like not like a guy would go after that. But it's like a couple of them things I agree with. Ladies, you should be carrying. You should not be taking self-defense classes. You should not go take blah, 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 whatever. Like if it's a fight to life or death, I don't care if you're a black belt. I mean, if I'm
Better
twice
off
three times
running.
your size, you're done. But yeah, get a gun, learn how to defend yourself, carry. If you voted differently than the guy in your life, your husband or whatever, then yeah, you probably shouldn't be in that anymore because that's a pure indicator that you don't trust him. He's not the leader that you need him to be. And I mean, if my wife, my proverbial wife or my girl or whatever voted differently than me, then yeah, that's it. That's the countdown to the end of the relationship. She's not seeing you as a leader. They had women adopt the mannerisms and the hobbies and the political leanings and the affectations of men that they are in love with. And if that didn't happen in your particular relationship or marriage, then you're probably doomed, dude. But yeah, it's like, it's somebody said something on here about, like The Handmaid's Tale. They keep thinking they get off on it. They have to manufacture. They're so bored and they have so little going for them on a day-to-day basis that they can just grab a camera and just spout nonsense and have it be broadcast to millions of people. And it's just, yeah, I mean, this is how social media warps the minds of people that are easily warped. And it's like, cool. Like, I hope this works out for you guys. I hope you guys go and do these coalitions and do all this kind of stuff. Like, go nuts, have at it. Like, the world needs less of you. Like, go for it. Yeah, there you go.
Deborah,
I wish we had open carry in Florida. We only have constitutional carry, so maybe one day Ron will come around. But anyway,
open carries, you can carry it on your hip, right?
Open carries, you can carry it on your hip. I mean, even that's tenuous because it's like, especially if you're open carrying in the wrong area. I mean, there's videos where guys are getting their pistols snatched off their waist, right?
Okay.
So I don't even know if I would open carry if it were an option, but you can conceal in Florida without a permit. One of the things Trump's actually talking about doing is if you have a CCP, a concealed weapons concealed carry permit in any state, that will carry over to any other of the states that also have concealed carry. So as opposed to getting licensed concealed in each state. So that's something that, gets dicey for guys because part of the reason that guys don't travel, especially when we go do shooting and things like that, part of the reason guys don't travel because they don't know the rules. It's like, you don't want to be the one. Yeah. You don't want to be the one getting jammed up and them saying, oh, like, why do you have an AR? You flew into the wrong airport, like Chicago or wherever the hell. So, but it's just boredom. That's the only thing it's boredom and being able to be mindlessly, influenced by the masses.
I feel bad for these chicks, man. It's like, it doesn't need to be that way. Like, why the fear mongering, but it's manufactured indignation. It's the absence of drama in her life. So with everything settled now, it's clear there's no ambiguity, there's no more ballots to count, then it just turns into, well, I have to make this into something that it's not, which is what ends up happening. Which brings me to this next one over here. This caption here says, American women are vowing not to sleep around as punishment to American men for voting Donald J. Trump. Damn, Trump just ended sexual promiscuity. And Gia over here, she's been on the Ladies Night podcast before. She said, hoes wanted third trimester abortion nationwide, but failed. Now they're resorting to closing their legs, which should have been done in the first place. Nature is healing, right? There's somebody pointed out earlier in the comments, and they said something along the lines of there's something like 42 different methods of birth control. Like, you shouldn't, I mean, if you're planning properly and promiscuity is not as rampant, you don't need unlimited birth control or abortion. Like, it really should only be used in cases of rape or something where it's very severe, but not as a form of birth control. It just doesn't make any sense. And like the people losing their minds over it, it's just bonkers to me watching it just unfold, man.
Yeah, I really do feel bad for them at a human level. It's just, this is what you are living day to day, just in this constant state of fear and anxiety that the whole world is crashing down. It's like, look, I understand why people might have offed themselves. If this is what they're being fed by people that are supposed to be on their side, no wonder the guy got 2 assassination attempts within a few weeks of each other. When this is the rhetoric that's being spewed from this side, then it's no wonder, you know. And it's like, how quickly did they come off this Trump is a threat to democracy? They just packed up their stuff and went home. It's like, that was it. Oh, guess we just lost. That's it. You know, hats off to you. It's just, yeah, man, it's a politics, and trying to win the public opinion is a dirty, dirty business.
We talked about 4B earlier, and I saved an article here about the origin of it. Apparently it's from Korea. Surge of interest in the U.S. Yeah, South Korea for 4B. Young liberal women across TikTok and Instagram are discussing and sharing information about the South Korean feminist movement, in which I didn't know South Korea was so feminist, in which straight women refuse to marry, have children, date, or have sex with men. I can't see that being a real, like, straight attractive women will want the resources and attention of men into perpetuity. Like, it's probably the same thing over there, like the same sort of avatar there is what we're seeing here. These women say that they were enraged and fed up after a majority of their male counterparts voted for a candidate who was found liable for sexual abuse, whose appointment of 3 conservative Supreme Court justices led to the overturning of national abortion rights protections. In response, they said they're swearing off men and they're encouraging others around the country to join them. We've pandered and begged for men's safety and done all the things that we were supposed to, and they still hate us. That's a lie. Men don't hate women. Ashley Pollard, a 36-year-old St. Louis, told CNN, what is a 4B? Shorthand for the 4 Korean words, Bihan, B, Shuzlan, I can't pronounce any of those, which translate to no marriage, no childbirth, and no dating, no sex with men. Imagine cutting off your own nose to spite your face. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Have at it. Have at it. Good luck with that. Let me know how it works out for you.
Yeah.
Go nuts.
Sorry, I didn't have that up on the screen reading the article, but yeah, I had it on another screen. Kind of coming back to the sexual marketplace, this is more of a delusion post, but rampant. Very, very rampant. Let's just go back over here, 45 seconds. You probably saw this one, Moff.
I dated a broke guy. Anything better than that? My dad makes more than 6 figures, and my brother makes more than 6 figures. So
but you can't date that.
No, this is what I'm saying. I want somebody who is more than 6 figures, maybe more than 5 mil, 10 mil. Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
What? Wait, 5 mil a year?
Yeah, 5 mil a year is a basic minimum.
Hold on, wait. 5 mil a year.
Yeah.
Ryan's having a meltdown on that one. I captioned this one. Imagine being a guy that's okay. So just picture this, Moff. Picture that you're broke, you're fat, you live in your mom's basement, you don't have a job, you play video games all day. There's empty pop cans and pizza all around you, and you insist that you must have a model that's 10 out of 10 that will obey and serve you. That's the equivalent of what we're dealing with here, right? And she's absolutely serious. And we saw this time and time again on Ladies' Night too, when we did that podcast, talking to a lot of the gals. There's just a disconnection with the reality of the world, and there's not enough guys holding their boundaries and holding their standards. The problem is when there's enough guys out there, like enough of the simps, which still exists, which maybe we'll see change in the next 4 years, endorsing and supporting like just bad behavior and bratty standards and the sort of stuff that you're seeing here, like this that Brian's laughing at. You're going to get gals that are going to sit down, 300 pounds, stressing the crap out of the chair, saying that they want a guy that makes $5 million a year minimum off. You got to make $5 million a year to get on this ride, buddy.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's just, I mean, I can see how it's tough for a chick that grows up and comes from money. I actually had a girl ask me that a couple of years ago. She was asking me, she's like, well, you guys talk a lot about women wanting providers. Well, what do you do if, like, I come from old money? Like, what am I supposed to do? What if I don't care about a guy being a provider? What are the things am I gonna look for? And I think that's an interesting conversation, but I think that's where a lot of women kind of realize when they get married, it's like, oh, you're being taken care of your whole life. You lived in a big house. You had access to cars. You don't know and understand. You weren't with your dad for 30 years when it took him to build all that. And then you get married and you got to live in a little shitbox and share, a sedan with your husband. And they're pissed, right? Because that's not what they signed up for. Like, they marry a lifestyle. They don't want to marry the man. So, but yeah, I mean, pretty easy to steer clear of a girl like this. But to me, it's the only girls I ever see that are really acting like this. The entitled ones are the ones that, again, are not worth the time anyway. You don't see a lot of women out there that are fit, feminine, friendly, can be led, and they have all of these, outlandish requirements.
We should come up with a bunch of Fs: fit, feminine, friendly, fertile, forgiving. What's another one? We could make a long list of Fs for the ladies. What do you think? Put them in the comments, boys, ladies, gentlemen. Let us know in the comments. Maybe we'll make a list of a bunch of Fs. So this one's hilarious. We got a American.
Oh, let's pause. Let's check time. Where are we? Do you want to run? Let's run ads.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a quick break.
Let's run ads.
Take a quick break, run ads, and then we'll come back and do a few more. This episode is sponsored by richcooper.ca. Brothers, if you're like me and take what you put in your body seriously, you're going to want to use the Unplugged Alpha supplement line. An obsession with absorption is what sets this line apart from the others. You want to make sure that you absorb as much of the supplements as possible so you don't end up peeing out expensive urine. My supplement line is made in the United States from the highest quality domestic ingredients, and unlike cheap supplements from China in plastic bottles, mine ship in dark glass bottles to keep your supplements fresher, longer, and won't seep endocrine disrupting plastics into your supplements. Nothing is a hard tablet. Everything is in an easily digested, bioavailable capsule. You can filter all products by their various categories, including testosterone support, estrogen metabolism, fat burning, immune health, sleep support, and performance. Visit theunpluggedalpha.com/shop and use the subscribe and save option over here to get 10% off your supplement order, or use coupon code ALPHA10 for 10% off a one-time order to try it out. Men, if you want to know everything that I know today that I wish my dad taught me in my 20s, join the School of Unplugging. There are over 30 hours of lessons currently, a well-organized discussion board, and weekly Zoom calls held by experts with backgrounds in strength, nutrition, finance, investing, and entrepreneurship, all for one low monthly membership. Visit richcooper.ca and on the courses tab, hit the School of Unplugging and get started here. Guys, make sure you visit my website for my communities, requesting a private one-on-one consultation, or learning about my future events. And don't forget to opt into my email list over here to get my newsletter. Let's get on with the show. All right, let's throw up our American friends that want to move to Canada because they weren't happy with the results. So another form of a hissy fit. Let's chuck it up on the screen here. Boom. So this is our adventurous couple.
Checks out,
right? Fat doughboy and the other. Actually, he's in the passenger seat, surprisingly.
Checks out.
Actually, sorry, let me just kill that music because there's no talking and I don't want to deal with any infringement issues. But they're basically filming themselves crossing the border at Windsor. I've crossed there many times before. Big Canadian flag. And it's just the music playing, freedom, freedom, freedom. You know, we're basically coming to Canada and, we're leaving the United States. Canada has some of the highest taxes in the world, the dumbest gun laws in the world. If somebody breaks in your house, you cannot defend your own property. In fact, if somebody breaks in your house and you try to defend your own property with a firearm, a registered firearm that you own, that you keep in a safe, that you happen to get out in time to stop them, you're probably going to jail. There's really, really dumb laws thing. It's like there's going to be future lockdowns here. I could go on and on, 6 months of cold weather. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it's so bizarre to me as a Canadian that's traveled throughout a lot of the United States. And I've come to realize that the US is a much better place for us to be. There's more opportunity. The tax rates are much more favorable. The weather's better. I think there's more things to do. The Constitution is far better than what we have in Canada. And we're seeing people throwing a hissy fit saying that they're going to leave Canada. I mean, how many politicians did Camilla Harris pay? Not politicians, sorry. How many celebrities did Camilla Harris pay to endorse her in the camp? Like Oprah was paid $1 million to just give like a quick speech, at one of her rallies. Same thing with J-Lo and all these other celebrities, Alex Baldwin. You saw them all, and even then, we see that the celebrities have no real pull anymore. They just don't. People saw through the bullshit. Thank God we have platforms like, X, where, you can communicate with each other and there's a lot of free flow of information. It's now the #1 news source actually out there, which is fan-frickin-tastic.
Yeah.
But, you still have these delusional people that are like, yeah, I'm going to get free. I'm going to move to Canada. Yeah. Come to Canada and see what happens the next time they pull a scamdemic lockdown and force experimental jabs on you. And if you don't take them, then you're going to lose your job. There's tens of millions of people here that took a experimental jab that they did not want to take because if they didn't, they were going to lose their job. But that's, you want to sing freedom songs to, come to a place here, go for it. Have fun. Pay your taxes. Enjoy. These people have the IQ of a wet fart. How much time we got here? Guys, if you want to call in and ask a question, now's the time to do it. The link is pinned at the top of the live chat on YouTube. I didn't pin it anywhere else. Let me grab the link, copy, and we'll drop it in all chat. Call in line here because we're going to wrap up probably by about 9:30. So if you got a question, get in queue now. We already have somebody waiting. Check this out. I mean, I have to be careful with what I say on YouTube because I had an issue with a video a few weeks ago. But I'm just going to put this up on the screen. And hang on, I got to share this tab instead. There we go. So a 5-year-old, so during the course of a divorce, and I think this was in Tennessee, which is surprising because that's an unusual push from a judge there in divorce. But the judge ordered a family to jab all of their children. And the youngest one needed to get 18 in one day. And as a result of that, ended up with this issue, which I'm not going to say, but you can read the screen. That's just sad. I mean, it's I hate seeing stuff like that. It's just not cool, man. It's just not cool. Here's another one that cracked me up. Share X, boom. It's just kind of like a memer, right?
Oh God.
Just so us women now, I'm refusing to sleep with any men for 4 years. Oh no. What
Good.
Do?
Yeah.
This is great.
What are you going to do with all your free time now? If you're not going to sleep, oh my God, you're going to have so much more free time that you didn't have before.
Yeah, you might want to go to the gym.
God.
So this is a 32-second clip, and they're talking about atrazine, which Dr. Anthony J covered in his book, Estrogeneration, is one of the environmental sources of estrogen mimicking compounds in the human body, and it does a lot of damage. But watch what RFK says over here. This is super interesting.
There's atrazine throughout our water supply. If you in a lab put atrazine in a tank full of frogs, it will feminize every frog in there.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
And 10% of the male frogs will turn into fully viable females able to produce viable eggs. If it's doing that to frogs, there's a lot of other evidence that it's doing it to human beings as well.
Alex Jones was right.
That's such an amazing cut. I love that.
Isn't it? It's so good.
Oh man, like is there anybody been more vindicated ever than Alex Jones? I mean, what a comeback that guy's had. Like everything from 2016 to now. I mean, my goodness, like it turns out he was right. My God. Yeah. Here you go. Put another quarter in there. Here you go. Put another dollar in the jar. Yeah.
Yeah. He's right again. And by the way, 7 years ago, I did a video on the Entrepreneurs in Cars channel. Share this tab instead. Here it is. The title is Why Are Today's Men So Feminized? 7 years ago, I was calling this stuff out. It's been going on for a while. Like I really hope, and you guys can find that video on the Entrepreneurs in Cars channel. Go watch it. It's a bit of a longer one. It's 35 minutes long, but I break down all the things that I saw going on at that time 7 years ago that was softening and weakening and pussifying the Western male. It's just a consequence of putting things in water that shouldn't be in there, or introducing things in water through processes like with birth control, ending up in drinking water as a form of estrogen. They can't clean that out. They put fluoride in water. Atrazine gets in drinking water. You should really, I hate to bang on this, but I mean, you should really get yourself a 5-stage reverse osmosis water filtration system for your own home, because there's so much crap in tap water. It's just a good idea to get out. I mean, they're not going to drain the bank completely. They're about probably $700 to $1,000 depending on where you live and what you end up paying for them. But they're a good investment, especially if you got a family in your house and kids and pets and stuff like that. Don't put tap water in them. Do you know who Nick Fuentes is?
I know the name. I don't watch a lot of his stuff. I know he's this like far right. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
he's a dude who got kicked off X for a while and then he got back on it. Yeah,
He's back. Yeah.
yeah.
I don't understand why a lot of people listen to this kid. I mean, I call him a kid because he's in his 20s, and I've often said, I think if you want to get a fair assessment on something, listen to a guy that's older, that's lived some life, that's seen something that can reflect on it. And I remember before the election, he was talking about Trump being a bad choice. I'm not voting for him. And here's a screenshot from the 4th saying, I'm going live on Rumble to talk about why I'm not voting for Trump. And he was shitting on Trump for quite a while. And after the election, he's like, I can't believe we did it. It's like the guy's a total flip-flop. You get these all the time with all these characters out there, man. This is a scale one. I'm going to skip that because I want to take some. We'll make this the last one, I think. Is this the last one? Yeah, we'll make this the last one, and then we'll take the call-ins. Volume, and you don't want to be this guy is kind of the point of this video. And this is all too common. I've seen this couple everywhere. There's cookie cutter carbon copies of this couple all over the Western world, and it's exactly the same. They're both over 30, and he's the plugged in dork. He's the beta that couldn't get her when she was younger. And watch it. Here you go. Hang on, let's go full screen here.
I've never had a girlfriend before.
And I'm completely ran through.
And we're that one couple in our 30s. Believe it or not, Katie actually rejected me when we were in high school.
I was only going after hot guys back then.
But she explained to me that she's not here to have fun anymore. Babe, I ran into your ex today.
Oh, Chad?
No.
Zach?
No.
Harry?
No.
Jake? Aaron? Dan? Paul Brian? Short Brian? Abraham? Mr. Sherhart? Benson? Cooper? Curry? Trevor? Zeke? Malcolm Kellner?
No. Michael.
Oh, Michael.
He's pretty big.
You're telling me. I used to party a lot, but those days are over. Now I'm ready to settle down.
I spent my 20s working really hard to build a stable, comfortable life.
Which is perfect timing because it's exhausting sleeping in a different bed every night.
The best part about dating Katie is how popular she is when we go out.
99. 100.
Oh my God, there's Michael!
Katie, I haven't seen you since the Eiffel Tower.
Babe, I don't know you've been to Paris.
I haven't.
God. Those things crack me up. All right. Let's bring Jason in, and then we'll kind of move to like a wind down here and wrap up. Jason, what's up, buddy? What do you got for us tonight?
First off, just want to say, love the show. The show's awesome. And so I have a question about dating apps. And I was watching TUA 148, and you were talking about shadow banning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, I kind of having the experience, I think I'm being shadow banned. I was wondering what your opinion was. I bought 6 months of Hinge X, and I bought a boost for 24 hours, and I didn't even get one match.
Yeah, save your money. I mean, it's an uphill battle with those things, right? Like even the talent that's on there isn't that is it going to be that attractive as a long-term prospect? How old are you now, Jay?
I'm going to be 38 next month.
And what age range are you normally dating in?
I would say probably around 30 to 22.
Okay.
Is what I'm picking.
Like the real game changer for guys on apps like that, if they want to get the attention, like the algorithm will start to show your stuff to the other ladies when you start to get more favorable positive swipes, right? Is the way that I understand it. Like I have an insider that's worked for these companies, and I've got some of the stories, and he's also telling me some of the crazy like meetings that they have too. But your best bet is like outstanding photography. You're in the school of unplugging. I saw the photography that you posted last time. Were you able to get some better photographs?
I still need to get like professional photos, but I planned on downloading the like Adobe like
Okay.
Lightroom and trying to do it myself. I do have a photographer. It's just I don't know. I kind of want to develop more skills.
What did you pay for
I
all the
guess, in a
boosting
way.
stuff?
I
Like, what was the total
paid
cost for the premium of the boost and all that?
pretty much maybe about $20 less than what my photographer would have cost me. So
Yeah, like
you
that was
know,
my point. Like,
yeah,
why don't you just use the
right.
money for a really good photographer, right? I mean, your best bet is get some nice clothes that fit. Be in really good shape, like as best as you could possibly be. Broad shoulders, narrow waist, good looking clothes. Get the right shots. One of the mistakes that a lot of guys make, that I see a lot of the times too, when they show us the photographs, is they position themselves wrong. Like if you're not a taller guy and you stand in front of like a large lifted pickup truck, it's going to make you look small. Or if you're not a taller guy and you stand beside like a really bunch of like tall dudes, then it makes you look small. So you have to also be very selective in the photography that you use too. But your best bet is getting a bunch of really good photographs. And then there's other ways to tweak it, which I'm going to save for the School of Unplugging. I'm going to put together a module for you guys with some touch-up work, because women use a lot of touch-up, a lot of filters and stuff like that. And I don't think guys understand it. There's some tools that you can also add to your stuff as well to sort of get that extra fizz out of it. But it really boils down to the photography. Like you have to have the ability to get their attention. It's always the first photograph that's going to get you the match. Like they don't always, most people are just going left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. And they're not really reading the bio. They're not scrolling through the photographs to see more. So you really got to captivate them with the first shot. Moff, I'll let you chime in too, because I know you got some expertise in this area as well.
Yeah, there also could be a couple of things. So essentially what happens when you first log into a dating app, they need to assign you an ELO score, which basically just means how are you rated by the women on the app. So when you first create a profile and you put up pictures and all that sort of stuff, you get shown to pretty much everybody. And then after a couple of days or a couple of dozen or 100 swipes, then the app essentially identifies you as attractive or unattractive based on how the women have swiped on you. So what a lot of guys will do, especially, and I know you've worked a lot on your photography and you've gotten some things you've gotten better at, and there's things we've worked on and we've tweaked, but you could be potentially, you're at a point now where like you've leveled up your photos, you've got the perfect bio, even though women don't really care about that stuff. But even if you've paid, your score might be so low. Now it's like trying to dig yourself out of 100-foot hole. Like even if you have, an excavator, so you may want to blow it up and start from scratch. I've heard all kinds of different things. I've heard that if you delete it and redo it after a couple of days, it resets a couple of weeks. Some guys I've talked to said as long as
you need a new phone number. You need to set it up with a new phone number too.
You could also,
new email
address. You could do that new stuff. You want to create a new email if you didn't want to change
no point
your
if you
number.
don't have like the best photography possible, right? Like you got to get that like down pat first. The other thing too, dude, is I wouldn't totally rely on it only. Like get out there, go to the gym, go to places where you like to do stuff. Ideally, where there's some pretty girls that you can approach and chat up. Get a little more comfortable with social circle game. If you feel a little socially anxious talking to women, then just as you go about your day, like I've said this many times, like you're at the bank, just flirt with the clerk a little bit. You're at the checkout when you're getting your groceries, flirt with like the clerk, the pharmacy counter, whatever, a lady in the aisle, she's looking at something, you pick it up and you're like, have you ever tried this? How is it? Just get comfortable talking, to other chicks. And you'll find that it just gets easier and easier. Like for most guys, it's like the social anxiety, like right off the get-go that they get stuck on. And they just have to push through. But for apps, really, dude, like the main thing is you have to have good photography. I'll get you there. What I'll do is I'll put something together there on the touch-ups. Because again, ladies, they got the high heels, the stockings, the push-up bras, the makeup, the eyelashes, the everything, man. They have every trick on the trade to sort of, level up their look. And I was talking to a buddy of mine a couple of days ago, and he's like, for the last 4 dates that I've went on, he goes, I was fat-fished. He goes, the last one, I just turned around and walked out. I'm like, how? He goes, it's because they're using old photographs. Like they're using photographs from 4 or 5 years ago. And that's another problem that you deal with. I mean, like you can get matches and you can get girls, and you can start talking to them, and you set up a date and you go out and you're like, who's this? Right? It doesn't look even remotely like the photograph. So that's another like hurdle that you got to jump over later on down the line too. And there's strategies for dealing with that. Like, get on a video call before, like ask for her social media. Cause then that way, you can see what she looks like in real pictures, stuff like that. So, but I mean, the first step is just getting solid photography.
Okay, yeah. And do you think verifying really matters?
It doesn't matter. Not
Okay.
really. It's just more shit for you to jump through because they want more information from you. Give us
Okay.
your email address, give us this, give us your credit card, buy this, buy the boost, buy the subscription, buy the whatever, It's just see, because the more things that you do on the app, the greater the investment, the more time and money you're going to spend on it, right? Like it's a game for them. They don't want you to find love. They don't want you to get married. They don't want you to get off the app. They want you on the damn thing, spending time and money on it.
Right. Okay.
Right? So I mean, you have to enter it knowing that it's a losing proposition and that you're going to spend a lot of time. There was a dude once that collected all the data that he basically marked up on an Excel spreadsheet while he was using online dating. And I can't remember the exact details off the top of my head, but it was absurd. Like it was something like tens of thousands of swipes, which ended in like a few hundred matches, which ended in, like several dozen dates, which ended in basically nothing at the end of it. I think he had like a couple of intimate encounters and they really didn't go anywhere. And really though, dude, like the quality of women on those things is not very good. It's just not.
Okay.
Like you're putting a lot of effort into something that's got a low ROI. So if you're going to go into it, you have to go into it being able to sort of get the best that you can out of it. And it always starts with the photography.
Okay. Yeah, I reached the goal that you told me to go for my weight. You told me 160. I'm 160,
Nice.
like 162, 163, like I
There's
went
a
out
little
for the
abs,
first
like,
time.
do you have a little bit of cut to it now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Feeling
I
good,
have-
man. I can see the smile on your face.
I have a vein right here, Rich, like I've never
Yeah.
had that ever before. I
Yeah.
have a
So-
vein,
So one of the things that you should also aim to do as well too is come out to some of the events, because we always have a really good photographer there. And
Okay.
nothing looks better than you hanging out with a bunch of other solid dudes that are doing fun shit.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, the last match I got was the snacks girl. Moff
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah. Yeah. Hop in the Zoom on Wednesday morning.
Okay.
And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the touch-up stuff. It's kind of like a behind-the-scenes sort of thing that we'll leave off the public channel.
All right on, Rich.
We can't give it all away for free. We got to keep somebody in this table for crying out loud.
All right, thank you guys. I appreciate you
All right,
guys,
Jay.
of course.
All right. And then if it works out
Peace.
for Jay, then he's going to come back and fully endorse it and tell you guys that it's the right thing to do. So
There you
so we'll
go.
get it there. All right. So let's do Jay Rizzo over here. Let's see what he's got for us. Jay Rizzo, what's up?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. What's going on, buddy? What do you got for us?
All right, what's up, brothers? Hey, I was just wondering about how are you guys positioned on crypto? Because I'm
Oh, yeah.
kind of newer-ish,
Yeah.
a crypto miner, and prices are pumping. So I'm wondering,
What are you
where
mining?
you guys at?
What are you mining?
I am mining Bitcoin, Caspa, and soon to be Dogecoin, Litecoin, and I think it's called Bells.
Do you have cheap electricity?
Yeah, I've got 11-cent power.
Okay. So it's profitable for you?
Oh yeah, it's profitable right now.
What's the cost of mining one Bitcoin right now? I heard earlier today was about 80,000. Is that correct or is that off?
Yeah, that's pretty much true. The cost of Bitcoin to mine it is right around there. But if you look at it right now, Bitcoin's at 88,000.
Yeah. It touched 89.7, I think, today, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So where are you? I'm not trying to be your financial digger, but where
Yeah.
are you guys at? Are you invested like I am?
Oh, yeah.
Or no?
I've been in the crypto market since 2017, 18, I would say. And my strategy more or less is just buy it when it's on sale. Like it follows a very predictable 4-year cycle. When everybody's selling, that's when I'm buying. And I just sit on it. And some of it I stake, where I can stake it on my ledger. Some of it I stake on some exchanges in very small amounts. I keep less than like a few $1,000s on any exchange because I've already lost enough money on Celsius and Holdenot and a bunch of other piece of shit accounts. But the vast majority, is in cold storage, and I just sit on it. My plan is really just to acquire it when it's on sale, and everybody's starting to talk about crypto and Bitcoin again, which is fascinating because they only care when the market pumps. So I'm happy about that because that pumps my bags too.
Oh yeah, human nature. When it actually comes into mainstream media, the normies get into it.
Perfect.
So, when the normies get into it, the more money comes into the market, the more we pump our bags. So, yeah, I was just curious. I mean, I didn't know if you guys were, into crypto. I had no idea, honestly.
Yeah, we actually have a guy in the School of Unplugging that holds a regular Zoom talking about, entry points, how to store it, how to buy, like all the basic stuff. Because there's so many people that, Algo Factory. Because there's so many people that know of it, but they just haven't dabbled in it yet because they're scared, right? Like there's only what is it, 1 or 2% of the world population that's indulged in crypto and Bitcoin. There's so much upside
it's
still.
About
so
800,000 out of the 8 billion people that are.
Yeah, so it still needs an education. It's not easy to use. It's not straightforward. Like it's not like you go to Amazon and it's one click buy. Like they need to get it there at some point probably, and it probably will at one point. But there's still some steps you got to run through. There's some tax implications. There's storage implications. There's security implications. So there's lots of free stuff on YouTube that you guys can watch if you're in the School of Unplugging. We have a professor, if I can call him that holds the regular Zooms. He's contributed a lot of content. He's there if you guys need him. He's in the chat right now. But yeah,
Algo Factory.
Yeah, you're probably going to see. So, what is your prediction for Bitcoin? I think the top. I'm a little more conservative, and I would say probably somewhere between $1.20 to $1.50.
If you're talking about me, I'm talking about probably about 210.
Oh, you're a little more ambitious
for Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit more bullish.
Okay.
But by that time, I'm going to take, you get a DCA. I'm going to take my profits.
Mm-hmm.
I've already bought some more miners. I've DCA'd out, bought miners, and going to make more money and sell them in the bull market in about 6 months.
Where do you live? In
That's
what
my
state?
plan. Should I say Indiana? Yes.
Okay,
Indiana.
Cool. All right. Well,
11 cents kilowatt hour.
Yeah, if it's profitable, certainly, you make, you grow hay when the sun shines. What do you do when the price of Bitcoin drops below the cost to mine it? You just turn them off?
Yeah, you just shut them down. That's it.
Interesting. Moff, did you want to chime in on that?
Especially in the summertime.
Yeah.
In the summertime, if you're not profitable and you have to put them out in like the Bitcoin mining shed, you may have to turn them off.
Yeah.
But in the wintertime, you bring them back inside to offset the cost of heating.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
All right, cool, man. Well, thanks for calling in. I'm glad you guys are talking about crypto because I forgot to mention early on today with the big pump that we saw, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the week. It's entirely possible.
Totally.
Travis, what's up, buddy?
Hey, man. What's going on?
Doing good, brother. Rich, you gave me some advice over the summer, and it worked out nicely about when I headed to Spain to go play hockey with my chick, tell her to get a flight, pay for it on her own, see if she wanted to come, and just totally leave that up to her.
Yeah.
And it took all of like 3 days, me being gone, before she's calling me like, let's book a flight. And then she ended up booking a flight, and she's like, I'm going to get the non-refundable. I had to tell her, like, just make sure you get it just in case something happens, which I was kind of amazed by. Like, she blew like $1,200, $1,250 for that ticket.
Yeah, GBD, buddy. GBD.
Serious GBD. And actually, we were having a conversation today. She was like, hey, I want you to start managing my money in the future. I don't like this type of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, Rich was right about the GBD. But reason for my call, and I had a question for you, was so I see a lot of potential in her for like great mother stock and allowing me to do the things that I want to do, not being a distraction. Like you say, she causes drama, but only, the minimal amount, which is quite nice. So as I'm looking towards like a family, kids, and obviously you have to live with her if you're going to have that, how do I dip my toe in the water with causing the least amount of damage as possible? Because I don't know if I like the idea of, signing a 1-year lease, getting all the furniture, getting all in bed, and then you got to pull the rug out if something bad happens. So like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Where do you live?
In Vancouver.
You're not playing hockey in Spain anymore? Or
I'm actually in Fort Wayne, Indiana right now.
Sorry?
I'm actually in Fort Wayne, Indiana right now.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand the question. You're concerned about getting a lease or getting a place with her?
You know, so like I see a lot of potential in her for like future mother of my children, like having a family together.
Yeah.
And I know I've heard you talk about if you want to do that, you got to live with her if you're going to have kids. So at
Yeah.
some point that's going to have to happen. So bridging the gap now where we don't live together to getting towards that, do you have any ideas for trying to causing the least amount of damage as far as like we're living together, common law, or like stuff like that?
I mean, the problem when you I mean, there's a few problems with it. Like, if you live with a chick, common law kicks in, and then you're officially married after a certain period of time. I don't know what it is in Vancouver. I mean, you can probably Google it. It'd probably be somewhere between 2 to 3 years. And then once you're common law, then if you guys break up, then you're basically married, right? So she's got rights to half your shit. If you have kids, common law doesn't even matter because I think common law kicks in either as soon as you have a kid or after 1 year in Canada. So, I mean, it's a risky proposition. What I would be doing is if you want to have kids is I'd be figuring out a way to get to a state that has default 50-50 custody. So if it doesn't work out, at least you don't have to fight over getting access to your kids, because that's a problem that most guys run into. Like that's what causes most guys to self-delete, right? When it comes to the divorces. I invested in this woman. I bought her the house. I moved where she wanted to. I moved closer to her parents' neighborhood. I did everything she wanted, and now I can't even see my damn kids. And she's taken all this money and alienated me from them. And you can avoid all of that if you live in a state that has default 50-50. Go to National Parenting Organization, the website. I think it's called npo.org. And they have a map on there that they update every year. And what they do is they grade all the states based on how friendly they are to fathers. If I'm not mistaken, I think Florida, either Kentucky and Tennessee and California have default 50-50. But that's what I would be doing if I was a guy like you that's, successful, playing a sport, could travel around a lot, is figure out a way to get set up with a homestead, a house, whatever you want to call it, like a home base, and at least a state where you don't have to fight over custody, because that just makes it so much easier.
So Canada would be basically totally off the table?
Pretty much, dude. I mean, Quebec has slightly different family laws. I mean, from what I understand, most people don't even get married that often in Quebec anymore. And I've heard some people say that it's a little bit better, but I haven't looked into the details. It's just, I mean, if I were to have a kid, I've got enough money to keep her in a separate house and pay for everything. Yeah, there's your map. Like I would just, buy her house or buy her a place and have her stay there, and I would pay for it. And I would go over and visit, right? And then that way,
avoid California.
Yeah, and then that way it's going to minimize a ton of the risk for you. But you have to have a ton of cash. There was a video that I did with Tristan Tate. Let me change the banner so you have the email address for the red flag. So if you're not on my email list, it's entrepreneursandcars.com/red-flags. If you get on there, there's an email sequence that goes out to everybody. And one of the emails that's in it is an interview with me and Tristan Tate. And he breaks down how he has kids, minimizes the risks, and takes care of them. And he's got multiple children with multiple women, right? Like he's got a whole bunch of kids. I don't know what the count is now. But what he does is he puts them up in their own house and he pays for everything. And then he doesn't have to worry about the risk and any of the problems that are associated with getting divorced, raped, or anything like that. Women don't think it's ideal. I don't want to do that. I want to do it this way, sort of thing. And it's like, I would just say, look, I'd love to do it that way too. And that's a conventional sense of things. And that's what I've always wanted to do. But the laws are harmful and it just doesn't make any sense. And it certainly complicates things. I mean, there's no easy, simple answer. People say, well, just go to this country or move to this country. And it's like, the United States, I still think, is a great country. And if you just go to a state where it's default 50-50 custody, you don't have to deal with that bullshit. You don't have to deal with the fight. You still have to split up your assets. You probably have to pay some maintenance or some support. But the key thing with a chick, Travis, is you got to vet her for a few years, see what she's made of. You know what? I'll give you this. I did a banger of a video the other day, and it's with my editor now, so I'm not going to give away all of it. But I get a lot of guys like you that are like, hey, man, I want to have kids. I want to have a family. It's really in me. Like, I've read your book. I know that marriage is stupid and all that sort of stuff, but how do I do it, sort of thing? And I ask guys that follow me, what makes your marriage a sweet spot for you? And I had so many answers, dude. And I was reading all the answers and I sort of categorized them. And the video will be out soon on the other channel. Obviously, I'm in the car doing it. But what it really boiled down to is, and I hate to say this stuff, but it's true. She's a virgin, or a very low notch count, because the more partners a woman has, the lower the probability of her forming a strong monogamous bond to you over a long period of time. Women that are virgins, when they get married, fight for the marriage. Women that aren't, or have been through a bunch of D, fight to get out of the marriage. And that's, statistically proven in research studies. But anecdotal evidence from the guys responding was, the main thing was virgin or very low notch count. The other thing is good family values. The other thing was she's got a good relationship with her dad. They have clear defined roles, blue jobs, pink jobs sort of things. That was very common in all the guys that were like, my marriage is my sweet spot. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I think that I'm still living a dream. And that's sweet to hear, right? Like, I love hearing shit like that. But it's going to be very hard to do that. Like, if you're an older guy, like, the chance of me at my age finding a virgin bride is impossible, right? The younger you are, the higher the probability is that, you're going to find a gal like that. But everything out there that's around women with culture and society is encouraging them to be promiscuous. They're told, men do it, you go do it. Put off having a family, get degrees, climb the corporate ladder. So you're going to have a hard time finding what's going to be a good match. So that's one part of it, is vetting her as mother stock. Vetting yourself as a man and making sure that you can lead is the other part of it. That was the other thing that came up with a lot of guys, is like, she doesn't try to usurp my authority. She follows my lead. She listens to my instructions. What were some of the other sound bites? Stuff like that, right? I broke it all down in the video in a little more detail because I had some notes when I made it, so it's a little more thorough, but you'll see that in a few weeks when it comes out.
A couple thoughts that come to mind. I actually signed up for the email list. I sent you a message the other day. I haven't gotten the Tate video, but hopefully they'll come out soon. I don't know if it's like once a month.
It's in the list. Yeah, there's like 22 emails or something in there, so you'll get it like eventually. Just keep an eye open for it.
And you mentioned, I've heard you mention this so many times about GBD, about when a chick has that GBD, it's like taking a frying pan off the forehead, man. You're so right. There's so many things that, like I've done with my current chick, where I could never imagine doing that to anybody else that I previously dated, because she has that GBD. And one of the ones that comes to the front of my mind, which you totally influenced, was I was trying to lead on a topic of her dog. She has like a really cute corgi.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, we need to do things a certain way, because you can't act a certain way. You can't act like a retard.
Yeah.
Especially like in my apartment. And she wasn't having any of that. I just told her to leave. Just go home. Like, I'm not tolerating this.
Yeah.
She got really upset. She's like, why would you ask me to leave? And I said, please just leave. You're not listening.
It's so tough with chicks today, dude, because it's like, somebody mentioned in the comments, because they heard that I just broken up. Like, I don't know, where's the super chat? I don't know where the fuck it is, but somebody was asking me to break down some shit. Yeah, there you go. Now that you're single, can we expect infield footage? No, I'm not a pickup artist. I'm not doing infield footage, but I'll certainly share, lessons and, the life as I progress going forward. But women have a very hard time following the lead of a man. And if you say something to do with a dog, for example, like, look, love the dog, Bob the dog is great and everything like that, but I'm not having him shit on the floor, right? Like this needs to get dealt with. Like, whatever your bottom line is, okay? It doesn't matter what your bottom line is, Travis. Like, you just have to say, I've drawn a line in the sand. This is my bottom line. If you cross it, then I will know that you don't want to be with me. So it's not like it should be confusing. Like, oh, I can't believe that, you're sending me home with my dog now. It's like, well, I told you I didn't want that. That was the bottom line. You crossed it. There's consequences to that. Go home and think about it. Right? I don't want to have this conversation again, because, it's going to come to finances, or it's going to come to a purchase, or it's going to come to where to allocate money to renovate the kitchen, or how you're going to educate the children and how you're going to raise them. Is it going to be homeschooled? There's going to be some other bullshit later on down the road that you're going to have a fight over, and she's going to fight tooth and nail because she's used to getting her way over the dog. Right? So it's like, people say, well, that's Rich, that's too much, or, why don't you be a little more flexible? I get it, but for the sake of a good relationship, for you to be able to lead it as, you've got responsibility as a man. She wants to have kids. Well, who's going to bring home the money, right? How do we pay for shit? That's got to be me. So that means that if I have responsibility to the house, the household, keeping a roof over the head, keeping food in everybody's belly, making sure that they're protected. If there's a bang in the night and somebody breaks in the house, I get up and I go deal with that fucking shit. Then I have to have authority over the relationship. You cannot have responsibility without authority as a man, right? So that's why I'm always encouraging guys, like, set these boundaries, set them early. Don't be unreasonable. Be absolutely reasonable, but draw your line in the sand. Point at the line in the sand. If she crosses the line, aim her face at the line in the sand and say, that was the line and you crossed it. There's consequences for that. Take the mutt and go home.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because I had that exact same thought of, like we're talking about a dog just misbehaving in my apartment, which is,
right.
A small
simple thing. A simple thing.
A small noodle in the pot. And if we're going to talk about like raising kids, having a family, making real important decisions, if I can't be allowed to make a decision on this, then this is.
I wouldn't even entertain marriage with her or children unless she's in your frame, dude. A good relationship should be easy. It should be easy. It should be comfortable. There should be peace in it. You should be able to sleep at night. You should be fighting over silly things.
Well, if I could, real quick, I gave her. I let her go home. Gave her a day or two. She tried to negotiate me down. I said, "This doesn't work. I wish you all the best. Sorry, thank you." And it was ballsy. I was like, "Oh, I don't know if maybe I should think about this for a couple of days."
Yeah.
Within 3 or 4 days of silence, all right, you're right. I shouldn't have acted that way. Sorry about the dog. And it's interesting because since then, she has been totally like non-confrontational. Yeah. Whatever I say basically is what goes.
Good.
Which is kind of a nice little test. A nice little
So that was a shit test, right? They call them like, shit tests. Her throwing the hissy fit over the dog. The hissy fit's not a good thing. Was it excessive or not? If it's not, she went home with her tail between her leg and cried about it. And I can't believe you did that. And why did you talk to me like that? And that's not fair and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, that's just the way it is. Like I'm not having it your way. It's got to be your way or the highway. Like you got Deborah here in the chat and she's saying, submitting to my husband's leadership makes my life so easy. At the end of the day, once a woman submits to a man and accept his frame as a leadership role in the relationship, things get better for both of you. She's got to trust you. She's got to trust that your decisions and your thoughts and the way you rationalize things, she should just want to say, I just don't want to think about this. I just trust you. You know what I mean? And just go with it. It's just, I've also said this before, like if you issue instructions to a chick, she should either carry out the instructions, she should come back and say, I don't agree with this and here's a better solution, or ask for clarification. There really shouldn't be, I want to fight about it, right? She should come back at worst and just say, look, I don't agree with this, but I think I have a better solution. And then you can entertain it. And then you can say, actually, that's a better idea. So why don't you do that? Or you might just say, you know what? We're not going to do that. This is what I asked you to do. Please carry it out. Thank you. That's it.
I love that you mentioned that because she actually does that quite a bit. And there is a few times where she has some actually really good ideas that I take to heart. Maybe I don't want to hear them sometimes just because like I got my own ego, right? But sometimes they're nice to hear. And
no, you should hear them out. It's just most of the times, a lot of it is driven by emotion. Women are very emotional. They tend to sort of sit on their emotions. They marinate on them. They're not good at chopping it up. Like guys can sort of work through shit, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. But it comes with the territory, man. You want to deal with chicks. You want to be intimate with them. You want them in your life. You want them to cook for you and like be there when you're sick. Like Moff won't be there if I'm sick. I love Moff, but he's not going to be there if I'm fucking sick. Right.
To bring back you mentioned at the top of the show about politics, and if she's not voting the same way that you are. Yeah. And for the first little bit of dating her, obviously about the Green Party in Canada, and she was all about voting for the Greens, voting for abortions, all this type of stuff. Yeah. Over a couple of weeks, I tried to explain to her like you seeing things this way is actually destructive to the goals that we're supposed to be in the same line of. Yeah. And BC had that provincial election last month, and she actually voted Conservative, and she voted before me. She came out, I voted Conservative. Good. It's good for us. I was like, my God, this is fantastic. She listens.
I've said this before. Like when a chick enters the frame of a strong masculine leader, she'll adopt his political values. She'll adopt his musical tastes. She'll adopt his culinary tastes. I've been with chicks that were like mostly vegan, and they would switch to like eating meat. Just just because of me, right? Like I'm not going to sit there eating salad all day long.
It's funny you mentioned she was a vegetarian. Now she's eating beef more often.
Correct. Exactly. So, and women crave that, right? Because if you don't do it, guess who does it? The government, the Green Party. That's why she was all Green Party before, right? Is like, she didn't have a guy to lead her. So the best thing that she saw was vote for fucking environmentalism and abortions and shit like that, because that was the best narrative that seemed to make sense to her. And then you come along, successful hockey player that's, a stud, tall and athletic. And she's like, maybe I should listen to this guy. And you've got, like, guys, I'm going to tell you straight up, you've got work to do in a relationship with a chick. The older she is, the more fuckery she's been through and more of the Green Party and the dick that she's been through, the harder it's going to be to get her to enter your frame. It's not always possible.
Drive it off a lot, loses half its value, right?
Correct. Unfortunately, they're still trying to sell a 200,000 mile Ferrari for new fucking MSRPs.
But you get $5,000 off in electric, right? Tax credits.
Yeah, correct. Cool, man.
If you had, I guess, basically any advice moving forward is just continue to vet her, give it 2-3 years before we start getting anything more serious like that, and just kind of keep her at an arm's length.
I would watch her for a good 2 to 3 years. I think it's been said by the clinical psychology industry that you want to watch a girl for a good year and a half because they can act. They can put on their best face, they can behave well for a certain period of time. But it's like after about a year and a half, like you've traveled together, the luggage gets lost. Does she spaz out and have a hissy fit, or is she cool and accommodating with it? How does she deal with rejection? How does she deal with the word no? Right? Like you learn a lot about a woman when you tell her no, right? Does she say like, oh, okay, fine, no problem? Or does she have a spaz? You can't tell me what to do. My father tried that with my mother and they got divorced, when I was 9 years old or something like that. And he was such a bad man and blah, blah, blah. And you hear all this fucker. I mean, as soon as I hear a chick is like fighting with her father, or, she was raised by a single mother, it's just like, I'm fucking out. Like I just check out.
I might have mentioned that she didn't really have a relationship with her father growing up, but in the last couple of years, she's really tried to repair that and
you should encourage it. You should meet the guy. You should hang out with him, see what he's about, encourage her to develop a strong relationship with her dad. If she's not going to respect her dad, what makes you think that you're going to get her to respect you?
She seems like she respects him. It's interesting you mentioned like once you see the coding in the Matrix, you can't unsee it. Yeah. Nice guy, very nice guy, but definitely super plugged in, traditional, like all societal views.
Okay. Plugged in beta.
Oh, he voted NDP last election. Okay. I was proud of it.
So I mean, like you gotta be that strong masculine lead that she internally craves, and hopefully she adopts everything that you're about. And watch it for a good couple of years. And if she's a good girl, then make her a mom and build a family if that's what you want to do.
All right, sounds good. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Good luck, Travis.
All right, Trev.
See you, bud. Moff, sorry, man, I got carried away on a tangent. Did you want to add anything? I mean, just to say,
no, it's all good. No, Trev's a good guy, man. I know he's a friend of the show. He's called in a couple of times. We've chatted a little bit. He was really interested in the Giselle Tom stuff and your take on that. So I'm glad you covered that. But yeah, man, I hope he heeds the call of the community. We need more guys that are, masculine and that are putting their dent in the universe and they're doing cool stuff in the world. And we need more guys on the ship. So I hope he answers the call.
Correct. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll see you guys very soon. Keep an eye out. We got some fun stuff coming. Have an awesome one. Peace.